Tuberculosis, as you know, is one of the most common infectious disease in India. And it is one of the world's most important disease, having affecting about 8 to 9 million people on an annual basis, and approximately 2 million die of it each year. In 2002, the most TB cases were in India and China. This is a statistics which shows that about 59% was in the Asian population and 1/3 of which was in India. So it accounts for 1/3 of the global TB burden, the tuberculosis in India, with 1.8 million developing the disease each year, and actually it is up to 2 million because of the presence of HIV. 0.4 million die due to the TB annually, and the peculiar thing about tuberculosis in India, the incidence of it, the epidemiology, it is that it affects most of the time the younger population in our country. A lot of research is going on, various techniques are coming, and a lot of money is spent by the government, by the WHO for development of some procedures for diagnostic tests, for treatments, for the control programs on tuberculosis. In spite of that, the prevalence of this disease is very high in our country. Once, I just read it in one of the journals that the Director General of the WHO once remarked, the whole world benefits from the fruits of Indian tuberculosis research. The whole world except India. And that is the pathetic state, because in spite of so much of work going on, we still have so much of our population being affected by this condition and so many dying regularly, daily actually. What we require for this is basically some method which will give us results within 2 hours, easy to interpret, which is very useful in both HIV patients. How do we go about this? The strategy which is there are 2 things, that in some places where the tuberculosis is, one is to detect and treat the people with infectious tuberculosis at the earliest, and the other one is to detect the high risk asymptomatic people who develop latent TB infection and prevent the development of active disease. What happens is we wait for the sputum to be positive many a times to detect the disease, and by the time the patient is detected, he would already have infected so many people around him with the tuberculosis. And it is important for us also to detect these contacts, the family persons who are likely to have the development of disease. If you name any procedure, any technique in that, then you will have tuberculosis which is there. Most of the procedures, most of the techniques, research is being done in different fields for tuberculosis diagnosis. However, we are still using most commonly the direct microscopy assay and the Montu test and the culture, which are the most commonly used methods for the diagnosis of tuberculosis. I've just tried to touch upon a few of these techniques so that we can, because it's not possible in this short time to talk on each and every technique in detail, but I have tried to briefly go, and if in case anything is missing, I would just beg your pardon. And the methods which are there are the direct methods, wherein we try to look for the tubercle bacilli directly or its products, which are the direct microscopy, culture, and other genotypic methods like PCR. The indirect methods, wherein we look in for the antigen detection, the antibody, the presence of the antibody, biochemical reactions, and also the X-ray, the CT, and the MRI. Most of the time, what we do first start off when it's a case of pulmonary tuberculosis is just to start off with the X-ray. These radiological investigations in correlation with clinical features have to be correlated very well with any diagnostic test, and when you choose a method, we have to choose appropriate to the clinical setting, whether it is a pulmonary tuberculosis, extrapulmonary tuberculosis, and whether we need to do is it possible that will we be able to pick up by this particular method is something which we have to analyze before we ask for the method, whether you want to say a ZN stain or you want to ask for an antibodies. You have to think before we ask for an investigation which would be the appropriate method to diagnose the case. The most common method used is the direct microscopy. These usually use the carbonyl fission stains, could be a ZN stain or a quinone stain. The ZN stain, this is the easiest and the quickest method, but at least 10⁵ bacilli should be present in each ml of the sample that we receive for it to be positive, detected by the ZN stain. So though the specificity is very good on this assay, the sensitivity is very low, and it depends on the skill of the microbiologist or the pathologist who is going to say that the condition, it is positive for Zn stain or not, whether the acid-fast bacilli are present or not. These are again given as per whether it's a high load or a low load, so that it could help you in the therapeutics. It correlates well with the extent of the disease, the presence of cavitation, and the quality of specimen. What usually is required is a sputum sample. If it is a pulmonary tuberculosis, usually collected on 3 different days, and early morning sample should preferably be picked up, not the midday sample, because this is the one which usually gives us a better sensitivity in picking up the test. There are various methods because of its low sensitivity which are being worked out to increase the sensitivity, such as the concentration techniques, the addition of a detergent to increase the sensitivity, multiple sputum sampling. As I have already said, we need to take 3 samples or 3 early morning samples on 3 consecutive days, and centrifugation and fluorochrome staining, that is the auramine rhodamine stain, are the ones which are very commonly used, which is then seen under the fluorescence microscope. But here again, for these kind of a thing, what we need is a fluorescence microscope. It is even only possible in tertiary structure referral units, where we can have this particular methods which are being done. But concentration is something which is possible in all smaller setups, and that is something which you can do because it is supposed to increase the sensitivity to quite an extent, nearly up to 100%. The next is the culture. These are more sensitive than the microscopic Zn stain, where it can pick up bacilli as low as 10 to 100 bacilli depending on the method that we are using. The sensitivity is higher, specificity is also good, and it requires for precise, it helps us in identifying exactly which organism is present in the sample which we have received. There are various media which are used, the most common of which are the LJ media, which is used for, that is the egg-based media. In addition to that, there are liquid-based media and the agar-based media. The problem with the culture is the growth. It happens very slowly, takes about 6 to 8 weeks, and even after that, it takes additional similar about 2 months for the identification of sensitivity of these assays. But then there is a situation where you have to diagnose it much earlier, and you cannot wait for the culture report to come for a diagnosis to occur. It is better that if you are very strongly suspecting tuberculosis, to start them on the therapy for antitubercular drugs, with antitubercular drugs, and once a culture report comes, then you take a decision whether to withdraw it or to continue with it. This is the LJ media showing the growth of the organisms, that is the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the rough buff colonies as what they are called as. To increase the speed with which these assays can occur, to increase the sensitivity of these assays, there are various rapid culture methods which are now available, which can detect the organisms in as short as 7 days. The most common of them are the radiometric methods, the
pleural effusion or ascitic fluid or CSF.
See, as compared to the CSF, though the cutoff value is much lower, it's very highly specific, because if the AD is present in the CSF, then it indicates that possibly the patient has, there are a lot of studies which says actually AD is a much better method than PCR and all other techniques when it comes to the effusions and CSF examination for presence of tuberculosis.
What's the cutoff value, ma'am?
Cutoff value is much lower in CSF, around 9. Okay. Whereas that for pleural fluid is up to 55.
55. If suppose it's 68 in ascitic fluid, so he is a cirrhotic patient, or even less, around 50 or 35. So is there any significant in immunocompromised patient?
Like have
an HIV positive patient who is already deficient in lymphocytes is basically lymphocyte based assay.
Correct.
So there is any cutoff value in HIV patients?
No, there is no specific